Oh, sorry. It got me dancing. Hey, everyone. Welcome to Experience Matters, your favorite live stream, webinar, YouTube experience where I am trying to learn more about the customer experience space. And I'm trying my best to be a CX girly and not a research girl, which is kind of where my heart lies right now. Research is great, but we are so excited to have Eric Smuda joining us today. And if you guys have any questions or comments, please make sure to put those in the chat. I'm Crystal Wiese. I'm your host, and I'm the Director of Marketing here at Question Pro. I'm based in Austin, the warm Austin, Texas today. Eric and I were just talking about it. And Eric, where are you based out of?
I'm outside of Dallas, Fort Worth. So
we're
equally hot today.
Yes. And though y'all had like a hailstorm a few days ago that we didn't get.
We had a nasty storm yesterday morning, early in the morning. Yeah. And apparently another one coming tomorrow morning.
Oh, well, get your car in the garage.
That's right.
We are so excited you're here, and tell us a little bit about your background and, who you are and why you matter.
Yeah. Look, I've built my career on trying to drive growth through better customer experiences and better customer retention. Have led the customer experience, customer success, and loyalty functions in 3 different big companies that everybody's heard of, or at least 2 of them: Avis Budget and Hertz. And then the most recent one was Likewise, which is device repair and device insurance. So.
That's fun.
Yeah.
I have a lot of thoughts about the customer experience of car rentals, none of which
we could talk for hours on that.
I'm sure you also, because we're talking about AI today, I'm sure you have some spicy takes on the AI that Hertz has implemented.
Oh. Yeah. After my time, let me tell you that.
If you guys have any questions for Eric about his background or anything, please make sure to put them in the comments section and tell us where you're watching from. What I'm really excited about in this conversation, and besides what the role AI is playing in customer support, along with Eric's background, is this is actually a sneak peek into our debate that we will be having at Question Pro XDay. And if you'd like to hear more about this topic, please join us for Question Pro XDay. You can use code Howdy, Cowboy, Yeehaw, any, country themed promo code will get you complimentary tickets. And then you can hear Eric and my past co-host Raj debate AI's influence in customer support live. I will be moderating, though it was called out that Eric may or may not have agreed to do this to lean me to one side.
I think it was more I beat Raj in that debate last year, and he's looking for revenge, and we'll just make it 2-0 and we'll keep moving on.
I love that. There are prizes involved, which will be very exciting. So let's dive in. Where do we think AI is delivering real impact versus where it's falling short? I mean, we just mentioned the Hertz example, which is a great place it could be falling short. How do you think AI is starting to deliver real impact in the CX space?
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, look, there's lots of, we're surrounded by AI, and, everybody acts like, oh, it's a new thing because we've had it, for the last 2 years. But look at things like Siri, look at things like Alexa, right? I mean, AI has been in our lives now for several years. Look at Waze. I mean, Waze is a good example of using AI in a good way. Netflix and Spotify, the recommendations that are going on there. So, it has been in our lives, and it has been delivering value in our lives. I think, if you look at some more recent examples, and obviously my face is a good example of this one. Sephora has a virtual assistant in their app where you can try different makeups. So download the Sephora app and do the virtual assistant, but you can try and see what that makeup would look like on your face before you have to buy it.
That's so fun.
Yeah.
Sorry, now I'm distracted. I'm here. I'm focused.
Yeah, you're good. You're good. As I was prepping for this, I found a good example in the banking space too. JP Morgan has something called Coin, which is short for contract intelligence, but they've been using it to review their contracts and claim that it's saved 360,000 hours of lawyers' time. So who doesn't want a smaller legal bill, right?
They do love billing by the hour.
Exactly. So there's 360,000 hours they couldn't bill us.
That's really fun. And I think what's interesting is bringing up people are really, I'm going to say befuddled, right? Maybe a little bit by AI catching on so fast. But the examples you just named are things we have been using for what Waze has been around 10 plus years.
At least, yeah.
At least, right? Like Spotify, all these things have really been in our lives for a long time. And so as soon as there was consumer adoption to just like take off, or at least an application where people could start interacting with AI themselves, right? Waze AI or large language model or machine learning, machine learning has definitely been around a long time.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the roots of machine learning go back to probably the late 1950s, early 1960s with neural networks. So, I had an old CMO who used to tell me things happen slowly until they don't. And I think AI is a perfect example of that. We've been building towards what's happened in the last year or two for decades already. Right. Yeah. And Siri and Waze and Netflix are good examples. But, now the explosion has really started with the release of ChatGPT and Claude and other things.
Yeah. I just heard, I was at a conference 2 weeks ago, and I got to hear the CEOs of Anthropic and Perplexity both speak.
Oh, boy.
And
probably excited you and scared you at the same time.
One excited me and one made me nervous. The Anthropic was a little bit of a vibe. And it really did, though. It is one of those things. I think if you go too far into it and you don't keep your eye on the customer, that is where it'll start falling short. If you can use AI to get yourself to the customer faster with better intent, I think that's definitely where it could accelerate your CX programs.
For sure. Yeah, absolutely. But like you said, it's start with the customer, start with their needs. There's great examples of where AI can help, right? It can extend your service hours. Suddenly a call center can be 24/7, but doesn't necessarily have to be staffed 24/7, right? Certainly can eliminate wait time or shorten wait time, hold time, and things like that. And I know we'll get into it later. Yeah. I've got some good stats about that'll say, hey, here's why you want to do this, right? But ride-alongs, helping agents, tapping into databases to get answers faster for human agents. There's lots of ways AI can help in the current environment and not be a replace, but be a supplement or an enhance to the human agents.
I love that. Explain to me, this is, I'm sorry for the listeners who are all CX pros. I'm not. I'm still here learning. And what's a ride-along in your description, in your experience?
So, hey, I mean, it's probably listening in on this podcast, right? Or live stream, but listening in live on the call, retrieving information for the agents, coaching the agents, hearing what's going on, live and making suggestions live, but also being able to take care of a lot of the administrative things after that call. So it's taking notes for you. It's doing a lot of the administrative things that agents historically have had to do, which frees them up to stay on the phone helping customers, rather than having 5 or 10 minutes after every call doing the note taking and the administrative tickets and things like that. Now they can spend more time servicing customers because AI will take care of some of the administrative tasks. So
literally, we were just talking about the paperwork before we started this call, this stream, and because I was like, I have a lot of paperwork I need to do, and I think I broke Perplexity earlier today. I tried to get it I uploaded the list of 500 XDay attendees to build me a slide deck, and it got stuck.
Really? With only 500? Wow. That's interesting.
It got stuck generating it. It made all the code, and then it won't generate the images.
Interesting.
And I was like, so I've got to like play around with. I submitted
You just gotta upgrade from the free version to the paid version.
No, I have the paid version, my guy. So I think there is, that opportunity to use it as your executive assistant for that kind of paperwork that doesn't require a lot of like mental decision making.
Right.
And so
or highly repetitive tasks. It's great for that.
Mm-hmm. So then what should CX and support professionals do as they're getting ready to move ahead in that AI change, that AI driven change?
Yeah, no, that's a great question, because I've been working on something else with CXPA, and we're really kind of classifying AI as really the third, for those of us, I'm a little bit older than you, but
Nah.
the third big revolution in our lifetimes, right? We had the PC revolution, which gave us great leaps and bounds in productivity, and moved us, probably into more of an office worker economy and a service economy. Then you had the internet and e-commerce and everything that exploded. AI is going to be that third revolution. And so CX leaders, people that are listening in on the call today, they've got to get in front of this, right? Or they're going to get left behind. I mean, think about, I heard a great story yesterday. Somebody said, think about if you tried to do a Google search today, but you didn't know Google, so you had to do it manually. Like, how long would that take, and how many results?
You have to go to a library?
Somewhere, right? But think about that, right? So if you're not jumping on the AI bandwagon, you're going to fall behind, and it's, you're going to get left behind. I think the more important thing for CX leaders is, how do you get in front of this, right? Yeah. This needs to be led. This revolution needs to be led by CX leaders.
Because it's going to happen to you.
You either need to make it happen, or it'll happen to you, right? Yeah. And if we want the customer and the customer's needs to be out front, we need to lead that change, because otherwise the CTO is going to lead it, the CIO is going to lead it. And look, the world has a history of saying, hey, tech rollouts that are based on tech and not customer needs don't work so well.
Mark Slayton and I were actually talking, or Slatton, we're talking about this last month, when we were talking about how do you prep your frameworks to talk to executives. And we've been hearing a lot about this. Like, it's in the market right now if you're reading earnings reports, which I'm a nerd, so just don't ask questions. But, a lot of boards are dictating AI adoption. Right. And it is either going to be dictated to you, or you can come with a plan before it gets kind of like shoved down your throat.
Well, right. And I don't want to be alarmist, but if we as CX leaders don't get in front of that, the boards and the CFOs will jam it down our throats. And then guess what? It's not about the customer anymore. It's about cost savings and how many humans' jobs can I eliminate by using AI. So we have to get in front of this and make sure it's done right and done for the right reasons, and combining automation with human empathy versus seeing this as strictly a replacement for human capital.
I think that's really true. And I would really challenge anyone out there, like, sit down and start building frameworks, right? Talk to people like Eric or your CXPA association support, right? Like, find these frameworks that you can start building to get in front of you, because at this point, if you do anything, you are beating someone else because they have done nothing.
Well, yeah. I mean, look, there was something that came out a couple of weeks ago from MIT, and they had done, I don't know how they did the research, but they did a bunch of research looking at corporate use of AI. And the big headline that came out of this was, hey, 95% of AI pilots have failed. That's okay, right? I mean, everybody wants to say, see, AI doesn't work. No, it's not about that. People are doing experiments. People are testing and learning. People are building their knowledge. The next experiment won't fail. The third experiment will roll out to a bigger audience. The fourth one will roll out to your entire audience. So, to your point, learn how to do prompts, learn how to start automating workflows, learn how to, eventually we'll get to the point where we're orchestrating the whole journey with AI. But right now you need to be experimenting. You need to be stubbing your toe and scraping your knee a little bit and learning those early lessons, but we got to get there quickly.
And I think something I've been noticing, and you'll see it on LinkedIn now, like in the search bar, you'll see it in a few places. The way people normal search in our language is also starting to change because we're learning to prompt engineer for work. And so even if you're not going to use it for your job, your customers are going to start changing how they interact with your customer support, whether you have AI or not.
Yeah.
Because they're getting so adopted to it in normal everyday life. So on LinkedIn now in the search bar, it says, what are you looking for? Instead of just search.
Yeah.
Because natural language searching is coming back now. Everybody thought it was going to be here with voice search and it didn't really hit, right? Everybody thought voice was going to be the next thing and it kind of went out. And then natural language search is really starting to take off because everyone's learning to prompt engineer. Right. And your customers are going to change how they inquiry to you.
Yeah. Well, even think about, roll back 5 years ago, right? People calling the call center, they still probably hit Google first. Now they're going to hit ChatGPT or Claude or whatever their AI engine of choice is, but they're going to have a lot more answers at their fingertips coming into that call than they've had in the past. So
yeah,
for sure.
You think that is going to... So this is actually this isn't on our list of questions, but do you think that is going to empower consumers? Because now all of a sudden you can look up, hey, give me the policy for this circumstance. And then when they're on with the customer service agent, they can say, actually, the policy is this, and I want this back. Or how do you think that kind of empowering of the consumer versus customer support's going to work?
No, I think it's a great question because yes, customers will be more educated. The challenge is, how do we enable that in a way that they can self-serve, right? I referenced earlier kind of statistics. So Gartner did a study, and this is 2 years ago already. So you know that it's changed since then, right? Yeah. But they looked at generationally, when do you give up on a customer support issue? And what's crazy is Gen X and younger, so the millennials, the Gen Alphas, the Gen Zs, over 60% of them will give up on solving an issue if they can't self-serve or if they have to wait too long.
Oh yeah, I'm not calling anybody.
Right. But here's the bigger implication. The next question in that study says, what happens when you give up on that issue? More than 50% of the people stop using the product or service, and more than 50% don't buy from that company ever again. And so we as companies have to solve this issue, or we're just blowing holes in the leaky bucket, and no, it's no longer leaking; it's pouring out of the bottom.
I'm like trying to think of something that I have, like something I've stopped using because of a poor customer experience, because I know it's happened, but I can't. Like, they literally don't live in my mind anymore. I have just written them off.
About them that quickly. Right.
And I am on to the next thing. But it is one of those things where I'm thinking now, like, using ChatGPT or Perplexity to prompt engineer, like my way through a chatbot is something I have been working on. And I saw like, it's like a little life hack that people are spreading on the internet. Like, if you prompt the little chatbot, it will get you through it, like short circuits.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and look, you referenced, hey, we're going to have this debate with Raj in a couple of weeks in October, right? You can find a million statistics that say people hate dealing with AI, people hate dealing with chatbots. I would argue that's not true. People just want quick answers and quick support, like you were talking about. The problem is the chatbots of yesterday and the virtual assistants of yesterday weren't very good, right? And so, yes, do we hate those? Yeah, we hate them. Not because they're virtual assistants. We hate them because they don't get us quick answers or get us transferred to a human.
I don't care that it's virtual. It's just not useful.
Right. Customers, the vast majority of customers don't care who they talk to. They want their problem solved, and they want their problem solved quickly. So if we can build better chatbots and better virtual assistants and get people the right answers, That's not an anti-AI problem. That's a we built bad chatbots problem.
So that I have a whole, you referenced the CXPA, and I was like, they give me a little, I made a joke a couple of podcasts ago that I probably shouldn't make again. I called them the CX Pacifying Association. And because sometimes I think that I'm in marketing. I love marketing. Like I would market like pineapples.
Yeah.
Like I love it dearly because I think it's so fun. Do you think there are ways when people get really comfortable in their CX programs because it hits their bonuses, it hits their NPS scores, and so the comfortability of their programming is easier than the risk of change?
I think that has been true. I think the good thing, I referenced this thing that I'm working on. There's a couple of people who've been pushing CXPA leadership really hard on, we got to get in front of this. Mm-hmm. And I will tell you, I have spoken to Greg Malia, the president or CEO of CXPA. He gets it. He's on board. He is going to change that and solve that problem. He recognizes CXPA not only has to get out in front of this, it has to start providing tools and training and education for the CX community to say, and we're going to help you get out in front of this.
Because I think a lot of people it's easier to build your walls than it is to be like, okay, well, now I'm just going to march into the abyss of change.
Yeah.
And because you need roadmaps, you need leaders, you need programs that help you. And I think where maybe it's a little harder to understand is like in marketing, we know 10%, 100% of that might fail. But we're just kind of like out here rowing our boats. We're going to keep rowing. And it may not be the perfect methodology this year or next year, but you have to keep building on it.
Yeah. Same with AI, right? We talked about 95% of projects are failing right now. That number is going to drop, right? It'll be 75, it'll be 55, it'll be 25. So, but if you're not in the game and you're not experimenting, then guess what? You're not on that road yet. You're not on that path.
That report also didn't say how many programs they still have going. It was like 95% are failing. And so everybody was like, oh, well, they're not doing any anymore. And you're like, no, they're still doing tons of programs.
Right. Fail fast, learn plenty, right?
Oh, yeah. And I think that is, so when you're failing fast and you're trying to build out these new systems, how do you strike the right balance between, we kind of talked about this, between automation and empathy?
Yeah. To me, it's start with your customers and what are their priorities. And then it's, to me, it's look at the reasons you're getting calls into your call center, right? And segment those and say, okay, what's the ideal channel to resolve those issues? Is it phone? Is it chat? Is it, virtual assistant? Is it our online self-service capabilities? Is it the app? Whatever it is, right? What do we think is the ideal challenge to resolve those? And what's our degree of confidence that we can solve them adequately in that channel? And then you sit down and say, okay, where should AI lead? Where should self-service lead? Where should humans lead? Because there are areas where, when you need empathy, a machine is never going to deliver that. An app is never going to deliver that, right? I mean, look, we all see the apps that, we're going to teach you, mindfulness and look, they're fine, right? But you're never going to get the same level of emotional connection from the app than you are your yoga teacher or right, your therapist or whoever, right? I mean, there's just only so far that.
Also, plot twist, guys. This isn't a plot twist. This is just a service announcement. Don't use AI for therapy. I don't know if anyone needed to hear that, but you heard it here first.
Is that based on self-experimentation?
It's one of those things people bring up a lot, and I always feel like someone needs to be like, public service announcement. It will just echo back what you put in. Please don't use it for therapy.
Yeah, probably a good PSA.
That's my you heard it here first, guys.
There you go.
Yeah. But it is that, like, you're not going to get empathy from it, but you can be the people who are trying to build this guides for, I don't know, putting the person in the right channel.
Right.
Do they need empathy today?
You don't need empathy when you need a password reset.
Yeah.
Right. The AI agent can handle that for you. Right.
I really hope they start saying like, hello, we hope your day is going well. If it's not, click here.
Well, but I mean, I know you're joking about that, but that's real, right? Is how fake does that sound versus how authentic does that sound, right? I think we're going to get to a point where we say, hey, do we need to be upfront? Hi, I'm Crystal, your virtual assistant, and make it, right up front that this is AI versus, trying to pretend it's a human. But you're seeing backlash from consumers already on the fakeness of some of the language coming from virtual agents.
I really think so. A big thing we heard at HubSpot Inbound, this conference I was at, was trust.
Yeah.
And we've it's going to be a big marketing theme for us next year around you can trust us because we are real people back here and we use AI to enable our surveys. And I think that there is going to be, my COO and I were joking, there's going to be digital trust and IRL trust, and people are going to approach those two things differently.
Agreed. Yeah. But digital trust better be inching towards IRL trust.
I don't know, my guy. I have seen some.
There's bad examples out there. Yeah. Bad examples out there.
We were trying to build some video, like AI product videos with people. And I can't watch them. I was like, we're canceling the service. I was over it. I was like, these guys' eyes are not real.
Yeah.
But
there's good examples out there too that you wouldn't even know are AI, right? So
I think there is going to be, moving forward at some point, there will be legislation around it, and associations are going to have to be a big part of making sure they're lobbying for the right things in that legislation, so if they don't build frameworks now to support that, they are going to get left behind in those kind of pieces.
Yeah, I agree with you. There will be, but let's also be real. AI is moving so fast and government doesn't.
I know.
Right. So government's never going to truly get out in front of this. And obviously consumer protection laws are stronger in Europe and stronger in Asia than they are here. So even if we look to the European governments and the Asian governments, they still can't keep up. AI is changing too fast. And so as CX leaders, you still need to think about, how do we build the right governance around this? How do we build the right, bias reduction in this, right? AI is only as good as the data that was fed it. And so if there's bias in that data or judgment in that data, then it's going to play that out. And so, right, we can't rely. Yes, I agree with you. There will be regulation. We can't rely on that. We need to take ownership as CX owners and brand owners for, this is representing our brand to consumers, to customers.
And I mean, trust goes hand in hand with how long customer support takes. If you break trust with a consumer, they're gone.
And not coming back. Right.
And that's
right. And so that's the risk with AI, right? We talked about it earlier, is this could create a bigger leaky bucket rather than solve some of the problems. So it has to be done right, has to have the right governance and guardrails and regulations around it.
I love that. I'm excited for our debate because I get the points. I'm on team. No, I can't say that. I'm supposed to be the moderator.
You can put your thumb a little heavier on one side of the scale.
I think there is, an opportunity for that. And then we have a few questions from the audience. So this is exciting.
Yeah, let's hit it.
How can we use AI for speed without losing human touch in customer support?
Yeah, I think it goes back to what I was saying a couple of minutes ago. It comes back to segmentation and what's the reason for the call? Where do we need it? What can be handled directly by AI versus what needs to be a partnership? The other thing is you're building, newer chatbots and virtual assistants and all of these things is what's the off ramp to a direct connect to the consumer, right? It has to be immediate, and it has to be a warm transfer. That's how you build trust and speed. So
what a warm transfer, what does that mean? Y'all use this lingo that I'm always like, what's happening?
Right. But okay, so if you're no different than human agent transfer to human agent transfer, right? You don't want to get transferred from the virtual agent to the human agent and then have to repeat all your answers.
Oh my gosh.
No, all of that information has to go with the transfer. Hey, I've already tried to help Crystal with this, and this. Here's the answer she gave me, right? That's what I mean by a warm transfer, is you're not starting over repeating all of your
so spicy on some of it, especially now working in CX. I literally be like, I can tell that you're using X platform. My data should be in here based on what I know about your platform.
Right.
They don't seem to
my wife hates going out in public, with me to restaurants or other service businesses now, because I just walk in and I see the issues. I'm like, they should be doing this, they should be doing that. She's like, can you just, stop for a minute? I'm like, you can't not unsee it, right? I mean, or you can't unsee it. So
okay, here we go. We got Priya ask, how do CX pros cut through the AI hype and focus on real impact? And I think your background in revenue goals will help with give us some good insights here.
Yeah, well, it starts with, what are you trying to achieve as a business, right? Mm-hmm. AI is just technology, right? I mean, you go back 10 to 20 years ago, so many digital transformation efforts failed because it was about the technology. No, it's about, what are you trying to accomplish as a business, right? What's the business strategy? What are the actions? Then, okay, AI is a tool. How does it help enable us, right? And I think if you start with the end in mind and what are you trying to achieve, that's the first way to get there. And then I think it's like, ROI of CX period. It's how many new customers are we bringing in? How many, did we reduce churn in a call center environment? Did we reduce hold time? Did we improve first call resolution? Are we keeping customers longer? Are we selling them more? Are we reducing our cost to serve? Right?
Yeah.
It goes back to those 4 or 5 key elements. But it starts with, what's the business problem or customer problem we're trying to solve, not, we've got this new AI tool and let's go hunt for a problem it can solve.
Oh my gosh, story. I worked in a blockchain for about 5 years in the early days.
That's a good example, right?
Everyone
was looking for a problem.
Yeah, taking blockchain and finding a problem. And I'd be like, guys, you just need a database. Plot twist.
Yep.
And so I definitely see that. I think, though, with Priya's question, also play a little improv with your C levels. When they say, we want an AI solution, you say, and I am using AI to align to our business goals. In improv, you always say yes and.
Right.
You never say no. And so yes and your way back to the core business problems.
Right.
And then say, and we're going to use AI this way to achieve these.
And ideally, that's a business problem that you're trying to solve to improve the business, not a, hey, go cut $2 million out of the call center budget.
Yeah.
Right. That's not a business problem. That's just you want to save money somewhere and you think that's the easy path to doing it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. One more question. Olivia asked, what skills should support teams build now to stay ahead of AI change? This is a great closing question.
Yeah, this is a great question. I mean, I think there's two that jump off the page immediately for me. One is prompt fluency, right? How do we write good prompts so that we get the answers we want? And then I think the other, especially in a support team, is thinking about your workflows and the repetitive pieces of your workflow. How do you automate those? How do you use AI to automate those and free up the humans to do the empathetic things, to serve the customer? And so I think those at a macro category, those are the big things. But then it's, look, can it do QA for us, right? The company I left earlier this year, they had 2 or 3 people doing QA on 1 million calls a year. They were listening to 2 or 3%. Hey, I can listen to 100%, right? So, use it for QA, use it for training your new agents, right? I mean, they can practice with AI in real time and get up to speed and be virtually ready faster than they can going through a normal training program. But I think the big macro categories are really learning how to be fluent with writing prompts and then thinking about how can you use AI to automate some of your workflows.
Sorry, my internet is being really funky, so I'm just going to be quiet for a second. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah.
Great. I was like, I just sat really still for that whole answer because I was like, I think my internet's being weird. I think that's great. And there is a lot you can learn from Eric. So come to XDay.
Absolutely. Yeah. Hope to see everybody in Austin in a couple of weeks.
I know it's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to be so excited to see everyone. And so if you have any questions, make sure to follow Eric on LinkedIn. Don't follow me. I don't post anything of CX value. But you can always find us on LinkedIn. You can ask us more questions at XDay or even in the chat. We can follow up with all of your questions afterwards. Eric, last words of wisdom. What is your vision for CX and AI in the future?
Well, I think the vision is figuring out, right, how to blend the two together and take advantage of the strengths of each is really what it's about. Look, we're in the top of the first inning of a baseball game here. We don't know how this is going to evolve, right? It's like sitting in 1997 or 1998, as we all got our first email addresses and e-commerce sites started popping up, right? We don't know yet, right? But I think the best advice is don't stick your head in the sand. Don't think that you can avoid this. You can't avoid this. This is going to transform everything we do in life and everything we do in business the same way the internet has. So, get in front of that and learn as fast as you can.
As someone who lived through all those changes, I revel in a little bit of chaotic good.
Exactly. And look, there's going to continue to be bad examples. Oops, somebody screwed this up. It's going to happen, but learn and make it better.
I love that. Thank you so much, Eric. I'm so glad you were here. I actually even learned a few things I'd never heard before.
Nice.
So that's always the goal. We will be doing one more Experience Matters before we go on holiday for the second, November, December. And so I don't know who that's going to be. Oh, I do know. Oh, I forgot his name. Crap. We're going to advertise it. It's going to be great. I was like, wait, I did already find him. But we're going to have an awesome time, y'all. And so thank you so much for joining us. And Eric, thank you for being here.
Oh, my pleasure. Appreciate the invitation. Thank you so much.
Sure. And I'll see you in a couple weeks and I'll be fully neutral.
No, you can tip your thumb a little bit one direction.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Eric. I'll talk to you guys later.
Bye, everybody.